Hey, this is Rick Bone with Underwater Explorer. We've got some good new footage today. We're going to be diving in Roatan, Honduras. We're going to be diving a resort called Cocoa View Resort. In order to get a general overview, let's take a look.
Just right down the middle, guys. Just keep going forward, Barbara. Looking good. Let's turn barbecue. Keep paddling. Okay, left turn, Pepe. Hard left, hard left, hard left. Right turn, Barbara, right turn. Give me 5. That's as good as it gets.
Beautiful footage there.
No kidding. Yep. Oh.
It's shallow there.
Well, do you think you might find something to do at Cocoa View Resort? I think so. Let's get back to some underwater footage. Diving Roatan is really great diving. Visibility is 50 to 70 feet usually. The depths go to 80 to 100 feet. Great wall diving. Usually the boat will take you out for a dive, and then coming back you have the election to jump off the boat about 200 yards from a resort, and you just swim right in on the wall at any depth you choose. That's a French angelfish. One of the better things about Roatan is there's hardly any underwater current, and you can swim at your own pace. Coming back on board, these boats were some of the best dive boats I've ever been on, about 50 feet long. And this guy's coming up right in the middle of the dive boat. There's a little hatch there in case of very bad currents or waves. You can crawl right up there without any reaction to the ocean at all. Yellowtail. This is a very exciting swim through. We're at about 60, 70 feet. It's like swimming through the belly of a whale.
You can go into the hills where an old church used to stand. Nothing but a rock pile sits on the sacred land. Get down on your knees, be quiet, don't say a word. You'll hear a voice of old crying out to the Lord.
I've come for you, John. I will kill you.
In the hills on your knees, on a lonesome
Order Bell Witch the Movie Special Edition DVD at www.bellwitchstore.com.
Now we come right out of the swim through. Beautiful soft corals. Basket sponges. These soft corals were really a highlight. Now we're on the wall, and this diver's getting ready to go over the wall. I'll say on this particular dive the visibility was about 50 to 60 feet. These soft corals are just beautiful and occurred about every 10 to 20 feet. The dive master always helps people get back on board. The ocean was less than 2 feet on this particular day, just perfect for diving. Now we're right off the coast on our way to the second dive of the day. This is right over the lip of the wall. You've always got to be conscious of your depth because you can accidentally go on down below 100 feet, which you do not want to do. These divers are over the wall in several thousand feet of water. Love these little bluefish, they follow us everywhere. That's a great eating grouper. More basket sponges, and these were quite plentiful. The colors are really good. Yellows, blues, purples, reds. The water temperature on these particular dives is about 81 degrees. And although most people use wetsuits, I chose not to. They're a little too confining for me. Another great grouper. But after about 15 dives, this is diving 3 or 4 times a day, you do get a little cool. This is a wreck dive that's right in the backyard of Cocoa View Resort. It's about 200 yards off the beach. Really a pristine wreck. All the windows and doors have been taken off. You can penetrate it very safely. Great visibility on this particular day. The wreck has been down for several years and has been through many storms, and it's about 60 feet deep on the bow and about 80 feet deep on the stern. This is brain coral, and this was on the way back to the resort, and that's only in about 6 feet of water. This is back in the deeper water. This was a huge basket sponge. This little octopus-looking guy just sped right off. Another yellowtail expecting a handout. You can barely see this little crab in the middle of your screen. And that's a little eel that's trying to see what's going on. This is our dive guide, and that's of course Mr. Barracuda. We didn't see too many of them, but we saw about 2 or 3. You know, there's a lot to do in Cocoa Beach Resort besides scuba diving. If you want to take a break, you can go look at the jungle, the ruins. You can walk in the treetops. Just a tremendous lot of variety to do in Central America. This is after one of the dives. Of course, got a little water on the lens. We haven't taken the camera out of the underwater housing yet. But you can get a little idea of the countryside off Roatan. This is some of our divers, mostly all from Knoxville, Tennessee. This is some brain coral. And this is right off the lip of the wall. Beautiful soft coral. The water was clear today, visibility about 60 to 70 feet. Another small grouper. And this is back to another wreck. And this was in about 70 feet of water. Beautiful butterfly fish. These fish are feeding all over the wreck. This is a sea slug, not very appetizing. Great eating fish. These sponges were all over the wreck. These yellowtails were in abundance just about everywhere we went. These sheepshead were constantly around the wreck. And these yellowtail got in so close to us, they obviously expected a handout and have gotten handouts in the past. Otherwise, they just don't get that close to divers. You can see the size of that basket sponge. This is probably the biggest basket sponge we saw. It's about 7 feet high. That's a moray eel. He's coming about halfway out of his hole. These blue soft corals were just about everywhere, ever 15, 20 feet. And this is a coral that looks like in the shape of a turtle. Now we thought it was when we first came upon it. It's the most unusual piece of coral formation I've ever seen. Beautiful sea fans. And as you can tell, there's not that much current. Another little eel in the right-hand corner. A diver exploring the side of a wreck. And this guy's coming out from the wreck. All of these wrecks, there are about 2 or 3 of them, are very easily penetrated, very safely. This is one of the better days for visibility. This again is our dive guide with a little pointer. Roatan is one of the most dived places in the Caribbean. One guy had been coming back for over 40 years. And the main thing that Roatan has for it is the seas are normally very calm, except, believe it or not, during the summer months where they can get up pretty high. These soft corals are in about 50 feet of water. That's a beautiful queen angelfish. We saw a lot of different varieties of fish on this dive as opposed to off Florida's coast. Looks like these guys are in some kind of a feeding frenzy. Whole schools will just swim from one coral formation to another. They'd annihilate one spot and then go to another one. This is a French angelfish. This is another wreck dive. If you do dive Cocoa Beach Resort, take an opportunity to go up in the small plane. Great thrill. This plane ride was one of the best things on the island. The plane was built for National Geographic. They wanted the world's safest plane. And it lifts off and lands on water. It has 2 propellers, and you're always over the runway. Great way to see the scenic beauty of this island. You're only about 400 or 500 feet off the surface of the ocean. These little lagoons are just crystal clear. The island's a little Caribbean paradise. And Roatan is about 39 miles off the coast of Honduras. A little underwater atoll. And the reefs come right to the surface, so boaters beware. All the local captains are, of course. But that's the resort. That's Cocoa View Resort, which we're now flying over. And if you get an opportunity to go to Roatan, you definitely want to take this plane ride. Now we're coming back and getting ready to land. Back underwater. Now we're going to another wreck. This wreck was called the Budd, B-U-D-D. It was in about 55 to 60 feet of water. Had 4 or 5 entry and exit points on this wreck. Again, a very safe wreck. All the windows and doors have been taken off. All the oil has been drained off before it's sunk. And these wrecks are quite a prize for any resort that get them, because it of course increases tourism as far as diving is concerned. To have one in your backyard almost is unbelievable. And after you're certified, you have no qualms at all about going in and out of these wrecks. This diver's getting ready to come out of the wreck. Colorful fins, you can't mistake him. There were about 12 or 14 of us that particular day. The wreck was very safe, not a lot of anything to get tangled up in. That's of course a stingray. And here's our dive guide prepping us for the next dive. Before each dive, you get about a 5-minute lecture on what you're going to see there and what to try to observe. And again, these dive boats were just some of the best in the industry. They're built exclusively for Cocoa View Resort. And this is right after a dive, coming back, very relaxed. These little blues have found something on this brain coral. I don't know what they were eating, but they couldn't get enough of it. Beautiful coloring. We took a little break here after one of our dives and pulled in a little cove, just about 6 to 8 feet deep. They're just beautiful. This is walking back into the resort in Cocoa View Resort in Roatan, Honduras. The little platform there on your left is where you get out and you go down to the water into the main reefs. Another beautiful swim through. This was a cavern tunnel we all swam through. Notice the many thousands of fish. Now we just came out of the swim through. We entered that swim through at about 60 feet deep and came out about 85, 90 feet, and then slowly worked our way back to the surface. After doing one of these swim throughs, you want to swim parallel and gradually come up very slowly. No decompression. Here again, a diver's coming up right in the middle of the boat, and this is tremendous. If there are a lot of wave activities, you don't get near the effect. You don't have a ladder banging down on the top of your head. Very convenient diving. And here's a resort at sunset. 2 kayakers coming back. Kayaking and all water sports is free. Dion on the right, she is head of Ski Scuba Center in Knoxville, Tennessee. If you want to get certified, Dion's the person to call. And this was our whole crew diving Roatan. Beautiful big sea bass. Boy, he'd be great eating. He really came in close. Obviously been fed before by divers. This is a moray eel who came all the way out of his hole. That's very unusual. They hardly ever do that with divers being present. He was about 6 feet long. Here's our sea bass back. He's hard to get rid of. This diver's over a sponge. Very unusual fish. Great eating grouper. He was huge too. This is one of our best dives in Roatan. We're back on another wreck. If you have a chance to dive Roatan, just come on down. There's my little dog that greeted me every morning in my motel room. And he was a gentle giant. This is the parrot of the resort, and he was quite talkative. Every day he'd say something. We've had a great dive here on Roatan, and we'll see you next time on Underwater Explorer.